in America, and maybe all over the world. This next habitude I want to do with you is actually in book 3 of the series. It's my favorite one out of all 52 images because it's the one I need the most. It's called Rivers and Floods. I touched on this for 30 seconds in my last session. Think about a river and a flood for a minute. They're both bodies of water, aren't they? But I believe after that, it's all contrast. Floods, as we know all too well in Georgia, Mississippi, Louisiana, Florida, floods are water going in every direction all at once. They're often murky and muddy because they're digging up all the dirt and sludge along the way. They're usually a little shallow because they are going everywhere all at once. And floods are almost always damaging, aren't they? Rivers, on the other hand, are water flowing in a single direction. And even if it's a wide river, it's flowing in one direction because they have banks to them. And if you stop and think about it, rivers can be extremely helpful if you use them right. You can get in a boat, float down the Mississippi River, use it for transportation. You can light up an entire city with the power generated from a flowing river. You know what this teaches me? It teaches me the power of focus and vision. Most organizations, when they start, are a river because at the one point in their journey, they're really clear on what their focus is. But isn't it true? The moment you embark on the first week of your existence, new opportunities arise, distractions, obstacles, opportunities. Not all bad, some of them are good. But pretty soon, what was once flowing is now flooding. Sometimes we become 5 miles wide and 1 inch deep, trying to do everything at once. By the way, nonprofits aren't the only one, although we are terribly guilty of this. Trying to meet every need, do everything, we are. Businesses are guilty of this too. Companies do an ebb and a flow in America. One reason we're in trouble right now is because we flooded with this mortgage thing. It's ridiculous. We made bad decisions with home loans and all this other stuff. Now we're in trouble. It's because we were floods instead of rivers. Now, here's what I'm saying to you. Leaders, organizations, companies, government, you name it. We get in trouble when we start flooding instead of flowing because we become fuzzy, not focused. It's not that we're robbing banks or committing adultery or murdering anybody. We're just kind of doing everything. I mentioned this in the last session. You know what I like to say to leaders? You can do anything, but you can't do everything. And sooner or later, you've got to learn the power of saying no if you're going to flow. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever had a day when you woke up in the morning, but you were so I speak for a living, you were so crystal clear at what you had to get done, that even though it was a long to-do list, you were so clear, man, you were energized all through the day, weren't you? But haven't you also had days just the opposite? You wandered through the day, and you're kind of active but not accomplishing anything. You know what the difference is? Focus. I believe clarity brings energy. Clarity brings creativity. Clarity brings resources and money. Clarity brings more people. You'll be amazed at how the greatest gift you can give a team as a leader is clarity. You know why? Because most people are fuzzy. They're not bad people. They're just kind of fuzzy. I don't know. What'd you do today? I don't know. I kind of just a lot of busy things. Come on, is this not true? Shame on us who lead nonprofits who are actually doing something that matters for us to get to the end of the day and say that. We should be focused, not fuzzy, clear in our flow. But far too often we're floods, not rivers. I'll give you a good example of this from corporate America. Everyone in this room have heard of the company, IBM.
Right.
The Fortune 500 company. Did you know when IBM, International Business Machines, first started out? They were a river. They did one thing very, very well. They made mainframe computers. And they made a truckload of money, which was their goal. What did they do as a result of that? They made a mistake. They thought, well, gosh, if we do this really well, let's try making that. And then how about that? And then that, and then that, and that, and that. They started designing products far outside the banks of the river. Finally, in the 1980s, I remember talking to IBM team members. They would say, I don't know who we are anymore. By 1991, IBM was making more products than ever, losing more money than ever. IBM was losing $2.8 billion a year. Folks, that's almost $8 billion a day. Not a good day. Now, what did they do since that time? Built the banks of the river back up, said no to some things, and they're flowing again. Listen, you know why this is hard to do? It's counterintuitive, isn't it? You would think, do more projects, reach more people, make more products, sell more. No. Sometimes less is more. If you do stuff outside the banks of the river, it actually damages rather than helps. Doing more does not help more. I know that's counter. Ladies, can I talk to you for a minute? You are so wired by your Creator to be serving and helping, and sometimes do you not just get too many things on the agenda? And men, we're so gory on it. We conquer that mountain, and there's 17 mountains we got to conquer today. It's ridiculous. We need to say no, 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 so we can flow, flow, flow. Let me just give you a picture, real quick, visually, of what I'm saying, of what your team ought to experience, of what your students ought to experience if they get clear like a river. I'm going to put a picture on the screen. Why don't you just tell me what you think it is when you see it, okay? What is this picture of?
The moon.
Okay.
Fingernail.
All right, stop. Listen to yourself. I heard about 4 or 5 different answers. Here's what they were. Does that sound like your team? Now let's bring some clarity to the picture. It's a golf ball. Now, do you see what just happened in the room? Everybody's aligned. That's what's supposed to happen in teams. Teams are to align. We're crystal clear on where we're going. And boy, does energy follow clear. I mean, creativity. Things happen that are supposed to happen. And all you got to do is give clarity. It's the greatest gift you can give your team. It's the greatest gift you can give students. Because most students are kind of, come on, are not students flooding instead of flowing? Let's try another one, just for fun. What's this picture? What's that picture of? Now you're afraid to answer.
Right.
Okay.
Can't tell what
Kind of
that is.
hard. But the same thing's happening. Some murmuring and mumbling and kind of grumbling about 4 or 5 different ideas. But when we bring clarity to the picture,
Dominoes.
a set of dominoes, all of a sudden we're good. Now, all I'm simply saying is we got to be rivers rather than floods. Okay? Now, for the sake of time, I'm going to bypass the movie clip. By the way, when I teach the students, we always do a movie clip. Did you notice how we kind of did like movie clips? There's games. We're just saying, even with grown-ups, don't you prefer something a little more creative than just here's a big... But I'm hoping you'll never forget rivers and floods and chess and checkers. It's a simple concept that will go as deep as you let it go. I do, however, want to give you a chance to talk about this one because I'm guessing that most of your organizations have slipped. Maybe there's too many tributaries leaving your river right now and you're doing too many things. So let's go to the question, if you don't mind, real quick. Sorry. Let's go to the, actually I'm going to give some focus tips real fast, just to make sure you got them. First of all, I've said this before, but leaders can do anything, but you can't do everything. You probably already wrote that down. Here's something I really believe. I don't think I said it yet. I think people need clarity more than they need certainty. I think as leaders, we very often want to be very certain before we do something. God knows we don't want to make a mistake. But I don't think people need certainty. People live with uncertainty all the time, don't they? Our world is uncertain. What they need from you as a leader is clarity. Even if you can only say this much, not this much, say this much with great clarity. Here's 3 things we got to do today. Let's go. By the way, when you have a leader like that, don't you love them? Don't you just want to say, thank you, hallelujah, I know what I'm doing today. But when we just kind of, I don't know, we have a general idea, we need to be meaningful specifics, not wandering generalities. That's what we got to be. Okay, number 3, you got to say no in order to flow. Okay? Now, by the way, you know, here I am teaching this. I'm like an alcoholic saying stay away from the bar. I am horrible at this. I want to do everything. Holly Moore is our Vice President of Growing Leaders. I affectionately call her my flood manager, and I'm the flood. Okay? So if you're a leader in an organization, a lot of you became leaders because you're so good at getting so many things done. I'm just saying, can I help you here? Narrow the river. Make sure it flows. By the way, can I tell you why this principle works before I put you in small groups? This will help you, because if some of you are feeling friction right now in your brain because of what I'm saying, trust me, I'm not saying do less. I'm saying go deeper, not wider. Here's why this principle works. You got to put your thinking caps on. Here's why this principle works. What you focus on expands. What you focus on expands. Let's say I was to give you an assignment. We were to leave this building today at 4:30 or whatever, and you're to drive all over Atlanta, Georgia, and over a 2-hour period of time, your goal was to try to find as many blue Toyota Camrys on the road as you could possibly find. Now, do you know what you'd find? A whole lot of blue Toyota Camrys. And do you know why? Because what you focus on expands. They were there all the time, you just didn't see them looking at everything. The moment you focused on them, woo! By the way, haven't you ever bought a new car and you go,
Yeah.
who else got this car? What happened? They were there all the time, but now you're focusing on them.
That's right.
Now, all I'm simply saying is, In your mission at your organization, go deeper. You'll